How you guys doing?
Morning.
Morning. We meet again. We'll try to give you guys a view. We're starting this area right here. Okay, good morning. I am Colonel Brad Everman, the commander of the 177th Fighter Wing. We are excited, we're extremely excited to honor and welcome the Commander-in-Chief of the New Jersey National Guard, Governor Phil Murphy, to the 177th Fighter Wing, as well as a congressional delegation organized by Congressman Norcross. So we're really excited. We've put some pieces of equipment out here so you can see some of the things that we do at the 177th. It's cleverly organized. On one side, we have some support equipment for all of the agile combat support that we do. On the other side, we have some of the fighter equipment that is our direct go-to-war mission, planes and aircraft, our planes and airmen for overseas combat operations, as well as for homeland defense. So we're extremely excited to have you all here today. We're extremely excited to have our delegation and our governor here with us. One of the things as a wing that I'm most proud of is if you look around, you're going to see it's not just the New Jersey National Guard. It's not just the Air Force. We also have other members here. We've got the United States Coast Guard, one of our key players in the worldwide deployable mission, as well as that Homeland Defense mission. So as you look around and you see the uniforms, and you see those blue uniforms, those are our Coast Guard teammates on the surface and in the air that provide that daily, nonstop, continuous Homeland Defense as well as worldwide deployable mission. Most recently, and the part that I would say as a wing we're proud of in working with the Coast Guard is that this wing mobilized 300 airmen in the last 3 months to do Homeland Defense solely for protection of the East Coast, in addition to maintaining that worldwide combat deployability to go to any theater at any time for any reason. So on that note, what you see today is you see an integrated mission from the New Jersey National Guard, the state of New Jersey, with all of the elements of the federal mission here for defending the citizens of the United States as well as the citizens of New Jersey. So on that note, I'm going to hand it over to the governor, but one thing I want to throw in before I do, so most of you probably know, we had some of our members of Congress and the governor arrive on a helicopter. One of the passengers, I'm sure, was slightly less happy being in the back of the helicopter as opposed to being in the front of it, since she's got a history of flying the helicopter on the Navy side. The Adjutant General correctly informed me that there is a pilot shortage around the entire Department of Defense. So in the event that she has difficulty creating laws and doing the political side, we'd like to welcome her back into the New Jersey National Guard the first chance that we get. So.
He tried to push the pilot out.
I'm not at all surprised. Congressman Norcross, thank you for bringing the delegation. We're extremely excited to show off a little bit and tell you about what we do. And with that, I'm going to hand it to Governor Murphy.
Thanks, Colonel.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Colonel Everman, thanks. Thank you so much. There we go. Love that. To the women and men of the 177th, to everybody here, the Coast Guard, the Reserve, the National Guard, to each and every one of you, thank you for your service to our state and to our country. We're sort of about a third of the way through. By the way, I felt like we were taking enemy fire, and I realized, Mike, it was you in the other Black Hawk as we were coming in here. We were about a third of the way through a day, and I want to thank Congressman Norcross for the inspiration and the planning to pull this together. We just left, some of us just left the Joint Base Dix, McGuire, Lakehurst, and then flew over a good chunk of it. And beyond the security, beyond the pride, beyond what it means to the individuals who serve, this is a big deal as it relates to our economy and our state overall. We just heard at the Joint Base that it's the second largest employer in the entire state, only behind the state government. And it contributes something north of I I think it's closer to $6 billion to our economy. So in addition to the service and the bravery and all that you do for our security, I mostly wanted to say, in addition to that, this is a big deal for us. It's the first time I've done this. We've got the day continues up at Picatinny and Naval Aero Base after this, and it's a really good opportunity to see the whole breadth of the operations in our state. And again, I want to thank our congressional colleagues, each and every one of them, Messrs. Malinowski, Kim, and Gottheimer to my right, Mikey Sherrill to my left, and in particular Donald Norcross, who organized the day. And last but not least, Colonel, in addition to saluting you, I want to give a big shout out to the Adjutant General Jamal Beal and your leadership and everything you do and your team every day. Thank you so much for that. With that, I'd like to introduce and turn it over to the guy who brought us together today, Congressman Donald Norcross.
Thank you, Governor. First of all, I want to thank the Governor just for a moment. He is the first governor to accompany a congressional delegation to go to all our bases and how important that is to what it means to New Jersey. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So the General and certainly my staff helped put together this day because it's important. We had a changeover in the last 4 years, and particularly this last time, 4 new congressional members. And Andy Kim and Mikey Sherrill serve on the Armed Services with me, and we made sure that that new radar is coming, Colonel. Yes, sir. That we upgraded. It's very important to our national defense. Because first and foremost, we're here because it's about our national defense. Those men and women who are wearing the uniform so proudly, we want to thank you for what you do each and every day. But as the Governor mentioned, this is also incredibly important to the state of New Jersey and the economy. Second largest employer, Picatinny, Earl, here at the 177th, the Joint Base, and down to Coast Guard in Cape May. We're going to be touching basing and briefings and all those today. So just as our military does, down to the minute, we had everything except for the weather. Something that we don't quite control yet, but we're working on. But this is something to see. Andy has been instrumental in making sure the Joint Base is getting the refuelers. And Picatinny, if we talked about that once a day, was probably too little because what it does for our national security. The Colonel, we've been down here many times before to see the assets. We're going to hear about many of the things that you see each and every day, but the things that we're not allowed to talk about, we're also going to hear because it fits right into the middle of our national security. So on behalf of a grateful nation, we want to thank those who wear the uniform and first and foremost to my colleagues. With that, General, thank you for the weather today.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm incredibly aware of how hot the airmen are back there, so I'll be very brief. I just want to thank the 8,000 men and women that serve wearing the New Jersey National Guard, Army and Air uniform for the great job you guys do. Today we're going to show you off a little bit, fly around, see some things, hit all of our bases, and I'm just honored to be here today. And I want you guys right after this, make sure you drink some water, no heat casualties. Oh, all right, yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. And with that, I'll get out of the way of progress here. Thank you so much.
Anybody want to say anything? If not, we'll open up any questions from. Absolutely.
I just really quickly want to say thanks. I had an hour-long presentation prepared, but I remember what it was like standing at ease in the sun. But I just want you guys to know we know how hard you fight for us, and I want you to know how hard we're fighting for you. We have 3 members of your New Jersey delegation on the House Armed Services Committee. I don't think any state has more people on the Armed Services Committee, so we are fighting for you in Congress, and we'll keep doing that. Thanks so much.
Amen.
I'll go after you. Okay.
Well, I just want to say to our armed servicemen and women, thank you so much. This is the reason why we're doing this, to make sure that you have everything that you need to be able to be successful in your missions, in the work that you're doing. And we just left the Joint Base, and I'm certainly working with everyone across Burlington County and Ocean County to make that successful. But all across our state, we have just enormous pride for the work that you're doing. And I can't tell you how it is an honor of a lifetime to serve on the House Armed Services Committee alongside Congressman Norcross and Congresswoman Sherrill. And we're going to continue to fight together for New Jersey and for our country. Thank you.
Amen.
You don't, actually, go ahead. Jeff Van Drew had a family emergency. He was going to join us here, so Donald Payne was up.
And Donald Payne was up this morning with
and
us, yes.
So the delegation's picking up and dropping off. Just because they're not here, they're with us.
And I think I would just add, I'm Josh Gottheimer from Northern Jersey. I just would say one thing on behalf of all of us. We can't thank you enough for what you do for us every single day. It's why you see us all. We'll always get your backs. That's our job, to get your backs for always getting ours. What you do at home, around the world, fighting terror, and keeping us safe. I just want to thank you. Our job is to make sure we keep fighting for you. So whatever you need, please come up and tell us, because that's what we're supposed to do in Congress, is get your backs. Thank you very much for having us today. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Tom Malinowski. I'm another one of the rookie congressmen. 3 of us were elected for the first time last year, but the 3 of us, Mikey and Andy and I, have spent 3 lifetimes together, one way or another, in national security. And now I get to represent the 7th District. Saw, just a couple of months ago, saw off a whole bunch of brave guardsmen off to Kosovo, to the Horn of Africa, to Jordan, and we're going to see them home. We're going to make sure that they have what they need. I could not be more proud of you, more grateful for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, folks? Please, Colonel, come on down.
Sir, in reading your bio, you helped to enforce the no-fly zone many years ago. And here we are in 2019, and we're still at it over there. What does that, can you tell us, what does that tell you about your mission? Does it seem to never end, or is it just, that's your job?
Wow, that's a great question. And what I would tell you when I look at the Homeland Defense mission, and what I would say is, when you look at how we defend the homeland, in the Cold War we may have had sort of a way we sort of accomplished things, and the world changed in 2001, and obviously for the worse. And now we have a team that has to continue to defend the United States, and there's ways that we do that. We have the 108th Wing with tankers and the same number of airmen that we have, the fighters here, the Coast Guard, and it's an integrated team. There's airmen that run radars in New York. There are Navy sailors. There are Army soldiers on the ground with weapons, and that just shows how seriously we take the defense of the United States. And I would say probably the most important part or takeaway from that is that interagency, and that's the part that we improved after 9/11, and that's the part that you see now, and that visible presence is the deterrence. So is it a mission that is ongoing forever? I would say most likely, given the state of the geopolitical and the world today. So yes, do I think it's going to diminish? I don't, as long as the world continues to be unsafe.
Thank you, Colonel. Anybody else? Sir.
Yeah, since you're coming from Joint Base, during the briefing, were there any discussions on actions specific that the state government can take in order to help attract more missions, protect missions, grow the...
Yeah. In fact, there were 2 items that came up. One, which I've heard a fair amount. Andy and I have spoken a lot about it, which is a potential overpass for Route 539, which would be a game changer in terms of the Joint Base's ability to attract a disproportionate share of the training exercises and keep, in fact, ones there that are now going to places like Virginia. The other one that came up, though, which I've spent less time on, is reciprocity of the whole variety of licenses for spouses in particular. So whether that be to teach, to cosmetology, whatever it might be, New Jersey isn't where it needs to be. So Andy and I have already had a bilateral meeting after hearing that, and I've already spoken to our team. Carol Murphy was with us, Assemblywoman Carol Murphy. So we spoke both about legislative steps we could take as well as potential executive action. So we're exploring both as we speak.
On the overpass, Assemblywoman Murphy has introduced supplemental legislation to provide $2 million in state funding towards that. Is that something, I know you don't like to comment on legislation before it reaches your desk.
Yep.
Would you be willing to sign that, given that you've frozen significant amounts of funds given the state?
So 2 things very quickly. One is, you're right, I won't comment on it because we haven't made a decision on it. But secondly, it's something we take very seriously. But we take all those investments very seriously. Every dollar of the stuff that is on that suspended list our dollars we like. 539, getting that done is something we like. So we just got to figure out how we do it, in what sequence, but it's clearly important. Hold on one sec, please.
This is not an appropriate place for that kind of question, so that's, yeah. And since I'm up here, I just want to respond to your question to the Colonel. You mentioned he was involved in the no-fly zone in northern Iraq. That was one of the most successful military missions that we have undertaken in my lifetime. It saved probably tens of thousands of lives, prevented a genocide in Kurdistan, and 20 years later, the Kurds did most of the fighting to help us beat ISIS. So that's pretty darn good.
Amen. Maybe take one more, and we're gonna. Is that okay with you? Yeah. Sorry. So let me go here. I didn't see you, sir. We'll come back to you.
Well, I'll start because how many times did we vote to reopen government? I think you have to look to the White House on why it was shut down. Everybody in this delegation voted each time to keep government open. That's our job, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Well said. Well said. And by the way, as you all know, a shutdown comes with great consequences, not just for these brave men and women, but in all sorts of different ways in our state and in our country. We'll take one last one. Is that okay with you all?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I missed you. I apologize. Matt, jeez.
Yeah, Matt's on the floor.
Faster this way. So with the tax credit legislation you've got, it's been on your desk for a month now. I'm hearing there's some talks about potential compromise. Has your staff had substantive discussions with the legislature, and have you changed your mind about whether you're going to ask them to do this?
So real quick, because again, it's off topic here, and I want to respect the men and women, particularly the ones who are still out in the sun. So I've not changed my mind. Secondly, we've had a lot of good conversation with members, and there has been some good staff discussions, but it's too early to tell how that will turn out. Sir, you still have one.
Colonel, this is going to maybe seem ridiculous to you, but it's probably what everybody wants to know from you. Did you ever see a UFO?
I can tell you I've seen lots of unidentified objects flying, but I would not swear that any of them are a UFO. That may be specifically, and with all due respect, that may be a Navy phenomenon.
Mikey, you got to respond here? Or no?
Well, thank you, and particularly those in uniform. We're going to go here.
Amen. Thank you, General. Thank you, Colonel. Thanks to each and every one of you. What's that, Area 51? Is that the name?
Yeah, that's it.